If your cucumber vines look tired, pale, or barely climbing, stop blaming the weather. 9 times out of 10, it's not the sun, it's not bad luck. It's something small you're doing every single day without realizing it's slowly starving your plant. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that thing is. Plus 5 other quiet habits that turn a struggling cucumber patch into one that climbs, blooms, and hands you cucumber after cucumber for weeks. Stay with me because tip number 4 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the reason your harvest has been smaller than it should be. Welcome back to Gentle Greens, the place where growing a garden that actually feeds you doesn't mean draining your wallet. If this is your first time here, hello, we're glad to have you. And if you've been here before, you already know how we do things. No fancy gear, no expensive fertilizer brands, just simple tricks that work with what you already have at home. Today we're talking cucumbers, one of the most rewarding plants you can grow, but also one that punishes you fast if you skip a few basics. So grab your coffee, your tea, whatever keeps you cozy, and let's get into it. Point 1. Feed the roots, not the leaves. Most people water cucumbers the way you'd water a houseplant. A light splash every day just to wet the top of the soil. Cucumbers hate that. Their roots grow deep, and shallow watering trains those roots to stay near the surface, where they dry out fast and the plant panics under sun. Instead, water less often but heavier, enough that it soaks down several inches. Stick a finger 2 knuckles deep into the soil. If it's dry there, that's when you water, not before. Doing this alone can turn a wilting vine into one that stands tall by afternoon. Point 2. Morning is your only window. Timing matters more than most gardeners admit. Watering in the evening sounds harmless, but it leaves the leaves damp all night. And damp leaves overnight is basically an invitation for mildew and fungus to move in. Water early morning instead, right when the sun is coming up. The plant drinks what it needs before the heat arrives, and any moisture left on the leaves dries off quickly once the sun climbs. It's a small shift in your routine, but it protects the plant from diseases that are almost impossible to reverse once they take hold. Point 3. Give it something to hold on to early. Cucumbers are climbers by nature, and if you wait until the vine is sprawling on the ground to add a trellis, you're already behind. The moment you see the first true leaves forming, that's your cue to set up support. Even something as simple as an old fence panel, wooden stakes tied together, or leftover wire mesh from another project. Training the vine upward from the start keeps the fruit off the soil, away from pests and rot, and it also means better airflow around the leaves, which brings us to something people rarely mention. Point 4. The one habit almost nobody talks about. Here's the part 1 promised you earlier. Cucumber plants grow extra side shoots called suckers, small stems that pop up where a leaf meets the main vine. Left alone, the plant spends its energy growing dozens of these instead of focusing on fruit. Gently pinch off the first few suckers near the base of the plant while it's still young. This isn't about cutting the plant back hard. It's a light trim that redirects energy toward stronger vines and bigger, more frequent cucumbers. Most people never do this because nobody explains it simply, and it's honestly one of the biggest silent boosts you can give your harvest for free. Also, drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever grown cucumbers before? Or is this your first season? I read every single one. Point 5. Feed it kitchen scraps, not store shelves. You don't need a fancy fertilizer bottle to keep cucumbers happy. Crushed eggshells buried lightly near the base slowly release calcium, which helps prevent that soft, rotten spot that sometimes forms on the bottom of the fruit. Banana peels, chopped and mixed into the soil, bring potassium that supports strong flowering. And if your plant looks pale or slow, a spoon of Epsom salt dissolved in water once every few weeks gives it a gentle magnesium boost that often perks leaves up within days. These are things sitting in your kitchen right now, no store trip needed. Point 6. Plant neighbors that actually help. Cucumbers don't grow well alone in a bare patch of soil, surrounded by nothing. Certain neighboring plants act like bodyguards. Marigolds nearby confuse and repel several common pests just by their smell. Dill attracts helpful insects that hunt down the bugs actually causing damage. Nasturtiums pull aphids away from your cucumbers and onto themselves instead, acting almost like a decoy. None of these cost much. A small seed packet goes a long way. And they make your garden bed look beautiful while quietly doing the protective work. Point 7. Cover the soil, don't leave it bare. Bare soil around a cucumber plant dries out fast, and lets weeds take over the nutrients meant for your plant. A layer of mulch, whether it's dried grass clippings, straw, or shredded leaves, keeps moisture locked in the ground longer, so you're not out there watering constantly. It also keeps the soil temperature steady, which cucumbers appreciate since they're sensitive to sudden hot and cold shifts. This one habit alone can cut your watering frequency in half during peak summer heat. Point 8. Pick often, don't let them sit. Here's something that surprises a lot of new growers: the more you harvest, the more the plant produces. Cucumbers left too long on the vine, growing thick and oversized, send a signal to the plant that its job is done, and it slows down new growth. Pick them while they're medium-sized and firm, checking every couple of days once flowering starts. A plant that's constantly being picked keeps producing because it thinks it still has work to do. It sounds almost too simple, but it's one of the most reliable ways to stretch your harvest across the whole season. So there you have it, 8 small shifts, nothing expensive, nothing complicated, just paying closer attention to what your cucumber plant is actually asking for. Try even 3 or 4 of these this week and watch how differently your vines respond. If this video helped you, that thumbs up means more than you think. It tells others this content is worth their time too. Subscribe if you want more budget-friendly garden tips like this one, and drop a comment letting me know which tip you're trying first. Thank you for spending this time with me here at Gentle Greens. Take care of that garden, and I'll see you in the next one.